Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, regardless of where you are watching this from. I hope you're having an amazing day, and this week's been a blessing to you all. As we all know, we are leading up to a very important day for us as Christians, Easter Sunday. Woo! I don't know about you, but I'm so excited. This whole 3 month slash Lent period has just been something that we've all been waiting for so long. And normally we do things a bit different in the church. Normally, I don't know about you, normally in our church, when we go to church on Good Friday, it's the adults that give the 7 sayings of the cross. Each person delivers one. And this year we were like, why don't us as kids do it? There's the Bible's for everyone. We all have an opportunity to learn from it. So this could be a learning point not only for us, but we hope that what we bring will be a learning point for you guys as well. So I was my brother Shayan and Mama were looking through the list of the sayings, and they sent it to everyone and they said, okay, we're going to choose one. And instantly the first one that stuck out to me was the one where Jesus goes, my God, why have you forsaken me? So that comes from Matthew chapter 27 verse 46, where Jesus in his most vulnerable moment says, my God, well, not says, he shouts, he exclaims it and says, my God, why have you forsaken me? And I started to think about the 3 things. So I started from the basics before we go on to the 3 things I thought about. We'll start from the basics. So Jesus was ready to die. He was almost dead. He was on the cross, both arms out, nails in his hands and his feet, in excruciating pain that you and I cannot even imagine. And of course he was wondering that, I feel so alone right now. There is no one listening to me. Everyone thinks I'm a bad person. Of course he must have thought that God, his father, his protector, had, left him alone, just completely forgotten about him. And that was fear because, I don't want to say anything without giving too much away of what I want to talk about, but he was 100% human, but he was also 100% God. And so my first sort of point that I thought about was that it's okay to cry out to God for help. It is okay to ask questions and say, God, why aren't you giving me an answer? It's okay to do that. Oftentimes when we are growing up in the church, well, we are taught that, in your times of hardship and in a situation, just trust God. Just trust him. I don't know how many of you are watching this that have heard that before, where you've just poured your heart out to someone about something you're really, really struggling with, and they just say, just trust in the Lord. Just trust in him. And that's not to say that it's not true. That is 100% true. We should. But that doesn't mean that we just have to stay silent and just be like, he's doing it. We believe he is working behind the scenes, but we also have the right to be like, God, show me something, tell me something, I want you to show me that you are with me. I don't know what you may be planning, or I don't know what you may be planning for my future, but just give me a sign that right now you are here with me, you are there for me. I don't want to know exactly what it is. I don't want to know how you're going to get me out of this situation. I don't want to know how my bills are going to be paid. I don't want to know how I'm going to put food on the table for my kids today. I don't want to know how, I'm going to run the house for the rest of the month. I just want you to tell me that you're here for me. And that's just you just asking for reassurance. And a lot of the times it's just, I feel like there's a stereotype around the church and Christianity that you don't question God. You sit there and you listen and you believe he'll do everything, but you don't question him. Oh gosh, don't question him. And I'm here to tell you that that's not true. You have a right. He is your father. We call him our father, our dad, whatever you want to call him. He is our father. I sometimes, I know myself that sometimes when I don't know, Papa is maybe not doing something straight away, I will ask him, I will say, Papa, can you do this now? Or can you at least tell me that you're going to do it so that, you know, I have the faith that you're going to do it? It's the same with God, that, you know, we know he's going to do it. We know he's going to pull through. But sometimes we just feel so alone that we just need that reassurance that he will do it and that he is there for us. And especially when, you know, you're in this pit, you're trusting so much. But again, like I said, when you just feel lonely, there's that feeling where you're just like, okay, no one else can understand what I'm going through but God. That's what Jesus did. In his moment where people were spitting on him, they put a crown of thorns on him, they mocked him, they made fun of him, they gave him vinegar instead of water. He felt so lonely, so lonely. And his response was to say, God, why have you left me alone? God, just give me a sign you're here. Please, I just want you to, you know, just give me a sign. Show me that you're here for me. And I feel like just in that moment over there, at his most vulnerable, in excruciating pain, he made that a teaching moment for us. He was so selfless and humble in that sense that he used his most miserable, horrible moment of his life to teach that to us. And that moves me on to my second point, that God is present in the silence. Oftentimes, like I just said, we feel lonely, we feel like God's not giving us an answer. That doesn't mean that he's not there. I've got written down, it says just because he's silent, it doesn't mean that he's absent. Just because we can't see him, it doesn't mean he's not there. Just because you can't see what goes on behind the scenes, it doesn't mean that something's not being put into play. Just because you can't see air, it doesn't mean it's not there. Just because you can't see physical cash in your bank account, you still know there's an amount of money in there. Just because you can't see something, that's what faith is. Believing in the unseen things. God is present in the silence. He is there. He is working behind the scenes to make sure there is a plan for you in place. There has been a plan for you in place since the moment you were conceived in your mother's womb. God is present in the silent. He is listening. He is planning for you. He is, he's always thinking the best for you. He knows that, okay, say for example, Zoe, Shiphrah, she wants, a new phone, okay? Zoe wants a new phone. If I tell Zoe that, I will make sure that Zoe gets a new phone tomorrow, I'm going to be spoiled. If he tells me what's coming for me, I will not have that expectation from him that, God's going to do something great. I was on the bus home from college this morning and I was listening to a podcast. And the preacher in this podcast, she says that God makes us wait and he goes silent because he wants us to appreciate the miracle that will happen so much more when it happens. If we were praying for something and it happened in the next 10 minutes, we wouldn't appreciate it as much as we would if we were waiting for days and weeks and months and years for it. There's some things that we go through where we have to wait for an answer and we have to wait for we have to wait for a resolution to our problems, and we don't appreciate that resolution until we have to wait a long time for it. So God is present in the silence. Just because he's silent, it doesn't mean that he's absent. And that takes me on to my third point, that as much as Jesus was fully flesh, he was also fully God. And in our weakness and the pain that we feel, in his moment, Jesus related to that as well. He related to his pain, and through that he intercedes for us. He is the one who is pushing our prayers to happen. I don't know if that makes sense, but he is, because he knows how we feel, he is in this position to intercede for us. Hebrews chapter 4 verse 15 says that Jesus was tempted in every way that we are. He has been through the things that we go through, the trials, the temptations. He has been through all of it. He can relate to us. Even in 1 Timothy, the Bible says that he is our mediator. He is the middleman between us and between God. And it's just so amazing to think that there is someone in heaven on our team, you know, just sat next to God saying, okay, Zoe needs this. This is what do you want to do about it? This gentleman here needs this. What are we going to do about it? This lady over here needs this. This is what we're going to do about it. It's so amazing to think that Jesus is there and he's on our team and he's backing us up, and he's like in a team when you've got the coach and they're like, okay guys, we can do this. I'm going to go speak to management about this, but we can do it. We can pull through. That's what Jesus is doing for us. He's interceding. All these prayers that we say, he is interceding for us. He is mediating for us and just pushing what we need through God's will. He is not absent. He's interceding. He's there for us. And I think a lot of the times we're like, oh, just because he's silent, that means that, he's probably got, a problem more serious to tend to. That's not the fact. To God, any problem that we go through, no matter how big, no matter how small, it's still a problem. And that still hurts him. If we go through something, no matter how big or small, it still hurts him, and he still wants us to, do okay and be the best people that we can be. So I just wanted to encourage you all that just because you can't see a way out, it doesn't mean that he's forsaken you. He's not left you. He is still there. His hand is still on you, and his hand will forever be on you. I hope you all have a blessed Easter, and God blesses you.